All right, we're going to set up to do an the on-the-car brake lathe. So we find the adapter here that fits. And let me get some lug nuts. There's a lug nut kit on the on-the-car brake lathe. And my fat fingers won't pick this one up. And with 5 lug nuts, we need to have at least 3, just so we have a nice secure mount. And since we have a couple missing that need to be replaced, we'll stick with 3. Snug these up by hand. Now they have to be more than hand tight, but we don't want them tight. We're not torquing them to lug nut specs. We're just turning them basically until they're seated. The other thing when you're setting this up, make sure the car is in neutral, because if it's not in neutral, it's trying to push the other side, and the machine doesn't like to do that much work. So it starts getting angry with you. So basically, just, you can see what I'm doing, just snug them up with a wrench. Don't use the car's lug nuts, because a lot of times they have extra little dips and woos in them that will get in your way. Okay, now if we're working on the other side of the car, this head has to be flipped over here, which means you're going to be doing the whole thing upside down, but I wouldn't be able to show you if I did that, so that's why I'm doing it on this side of the car. So there's a handle. I don't know if you can see that far. There's a handle right here, and that allows us to tip this and turn it. And we need it tipped about as low as we can go here, so about there. Now we put this in here, and we have to get the right angle on it, and you look in between the machine and the adapter, and then you turn until there's a pin that has to drop in, and when everything's straight, this screw just spins right in. And that mates the machine up to the hub adapter good and snug. Now we can adjust this orange lever back here if we need to, but here's what we need to do. We need to make sure there's enough room to get the chip deflector without it hitting the backing plate or a bracket or anything that might be here. So we want it on the lower end, because there's nothing below that. So we want it on the lower end as best we can. And actually we're going to go all the way down to there, because that way when our feed comes back, it won't hit this. Okay, so now that we have that, let me move in a little closer here. This little red switch, okay, is our safety. We're back off the rotor, so this part is adjustable right here, and we move that out until it just touches the switch, and we tighten it back down. That way when the table gets out this far, it'll hit this switch and turn off the lathe. Because if you don't set this up and you're up here, this table can come out here, and we broke one a couple years ago. So we don't want that. Now, like I said, as long as there's nothing back here that you're going to run into, get it as low as you can. On the other side, you want it as high as you can because you're putting the chip deflector in. So this has 2 locks on it. This lock allows the table to move side to side. Okay, so we run this in and we get the table about centered, and the bits are too close together. So we'll put this in the middle right there and we lock this down. Now, don't play with that anymore. This locks these arms. You can see it squeezes down here so that they won't move in and out. But right now, we want them open. Okay, so we've got that. We want this off the edge of the rotor. Okay, we're going to run over here. And we're going to start up the machine. So we make sure we have everything clear, nothing can interfere. Turn it on. Okay? Now we push the start button. And it's compensating now. And it's all automatic. Okay? What we're looking for is our ready to cut, and hopefully we have optimum. If you get ready to cut but it's not optimum, I would disconnect it and start over and try it again and see if you can get the optimum light lit, because you don't want it suboptimum when you're turning the rotor. Okay? Let's move back over here. So, this handle right here, zoom in a little bit. This handle right here, you can see it's out and it's not doing anything. It also has an in position, and then it drops in as the piece behind it turns. It drops into a hole and feeds. So if you go here and you leave it, it's going to keep feeding, but you have to pull it out and then it'll stay out. So what that's doing is you can see the bits going inward. So we're going to crank this in until we're just inside the lip. Okay, and just like our other brake lathe, I'm going to get a little more light in here. Just like our other brake lathe, we loosen this up and we turn these in until they touch. This is just the scratch. You don't want to dig in, so you want to go slow. Okay, there's one side. A little bit far there, so I'm going to move it out and try again. Now we lock them down. You hear that ringing? We don't want that. The chip deflector also dampens vibration, so the ringing goes away. I didn't get it quite right. I'm a lot happier with the spring under this handle. Okay? Now we're going to roll this out, and we're going to cut the outside lip off. Go a little slower when you're cutting like that. Something I forgot is we don't want to make a mess, so we have this hatch table here that we can pull up underneath the cutting bits so that we catch all those metal filings. Now that doesn't stay on very well when it's out there, so we're going to roll it back in. Dip deflector on there. Hopefully it doesn't ring that bad while we're cutting. Okay, you can see it looks like we made contact with most of the rotor, so we don't need a very deep cut. And get them on these. Now, if you pull this out, you can see the line here is at 5. If you pull it out, you can turn it without turning the bit. And we can line that up at 0. And I did it on both of them. The other one's already lined up. That way, we know where the starting point is. But if it's at 10 and you can add, just go, you know, 2 marks, and now we know that it's at 15. Okay? So I'm going to loosen this because that keeps the bits from moving. And I'm going to take a 5/1000 cut on the inside and on the outside and tighten this back down. Now all I have to do is push this in, and it's automatically feeding. And now we wait. I'm going to get you in close here. Now if you look real close, you can see that the machine is kind of wobbling a little bit as it goes through there. That is designed into the machine so that it leaves a non-directional finish. So don't concern yourself about that. You want a non-directional finish. So unlike the fixed brake leg, off the car brake leg, you don't have to take a sanding disc to it and put a non-directional finish on it. Okay, looks like we got it all in one cut. I'll check the backside just to make sure. But if you needed another cut, so you can stop the feed just by pulling this out, and make sure you pull it out to the detent so it sticks out. And you can feed it out a little bit farther so you have a little bit more play. And you notice if we hit this switch, the machine just shuts off, and bring it over here so you can see it. It literally won't turn on. So if you have the machine and it won't turn on, run it in a little bit, and then it'll turn back on. Okay? But the inside feels good. I just can't get in there with all the lights and camera and everything in the way. I'll make sure before I do anything else. But we're finished with the on the car lathe. So loosen this up, take it off, slide the machine back, put this table down. Now this catch here that catches the filings just slides off the end of that rod. Take it over and dump it in with the rest of the filings on the off the car brake lathe, so that there's not a man. Make sure you sweep up the floor. But we take this out of the way. We take our wrench, break these loose.